When I brought my furry companion home for the first time, excitement and nerves mixed inside me like a shaken can of soda. He was a bundle of energy, tail wagging, eyes bright, and eager to explore his new world. But as much as I loved his spontaneous zoomies and joyful leaps, I quickly realized that sharing my life and home with a dog would require more than just affection. It demanded patience, consistency, and training. So, I made a promise. I would train my dog every single day for 30 days. I wanted to see not only what he could learn, but also what we might both discover along the way. The first day was all about observing. I watched how he moved, how he responded to my voice, and what caught his attention. With treats in hand and gentle encouragement, I introduced basic commands: sit, stay, come. At first, he was distracted by every sight and sound, his nose twitching at invisible scents, his ears swiveling like radar dishes. But the moment he realized that a sit could earn him a tasty reward, his focus sharpened. We ended that first session with a tail wag and a treat, both of us feeling accomplished. Over the first week, I learned that training wasn't just about teaching commands. It was about mutual understanding. Consistency was crucial. I used the same words, the same tone, the same gestures. At times, progress seemed glacial. Sitting instantly one day was replaced by stubbornness the next. But then there were small victories that filled me with pride. The first time he stayed put, even when I stepped away, or when he responded to come, while a squirrel darted by outside. Each day, these moments showed me that persistence paid off, but also that every dog, like every person, has their own pace for learning. I realized quickly that positive reinforcement was our strongest ally. My dog responded best to encouragement, cheerful words, treats, and the kind of affection only a canine truly appreciates: a good belly rub. Correcting him gently, redirecting him when he made inevitable mistakes, taught me as much about myself as it did about him. There was no room for anger. Training was about building trust. By the end of the first week, basic commands became more reliable. Sit was now almost automatic. Stay was firm, though sometimes challenged by passing neighbors or the neighborhood cat. Come became our test of distraction, and while he didn't always ace it, improvement was clear. These consistent daily sessions, each only 10 or 15 minutes long, were cementing new ways for us to communicate. Week 2 ushered in new challenges. We tackled the leash. Walks had been unpredictable adventures, with my arm often stretched as he pulled toward every lamppost and butterfly. I shifted focus to leash manners, teaching him to walk calmly at my side. At first, this was an exercise in patience for both of us. I stopped walking whenever he forged ahead. If he returned to my side, we'd continue. Progress was slow, but slowly. The pulling faded as he learned that sticking with me earned him freedom and praise. To keep things interesting, I introduced new commands: leave it, drop it, and wait. Each brought fresh opportunities for success and frustration. I marveled at how his eyes lit up when he mastered something new. Sometimes a command was learned in a day. Other times, it took a week. But every success was cause for celebration, a reminder that training is not a race, but a journey shared. We met obstacles, of course. Some days he was tired, or I was distracted. Sometimes, life interrupted our routines. A work call ran late, a rainstorm canceled our walk. I learned the importance of flexibility, of keeping sessions short and upbeat, and never letting a missed day become defeat. Our bond deepened with every session. I discovered subtle cues in his body language, signs of curiosity and stress, and how to adjust my training accordingly. By week 3, the changes were remarkable, not just in my dog, but in myself. My patience had expanded. I found that my own stress seemed to bleed away when I was kneeling in the grass beside him, his tail thumping as he tried to remember his cues. The discipline of daily practice spilled over into other parts of my life. I became more mindful of my tone, more present in the moment, more attuned to the small joys of progress, however incremental. We ventured beyond the basics. I introduced fun tricks like spin, shake, and rollover. These sessions became our playtime, laughter echoing through the living room, as he twirled clumsily or extended a paw with pride. I saw his confidence blossom. Each command mastered was proof to him that he could succeed, and that our time together was something to look forward to. One of the most challenging behaviors to address was barking at the door. Every doorbell sent him into a frenzy. Instead of scolding, I turned it into a training opportunity. We practiced quiet and rewarded calm behavior whenever someone approached. Progress was slow, but by the end of the month, he could sit quietly for several seconds after a knock, something I once feared was impossible. The greatest transformation, though, was not in the commands my dog learned, but in the relationship we built. Training became our shared language, a way to bridge the gap between human and canine worlds. I grew to understand his quirky habits and preferences, while he, in turn, began to anticipate my cues and moods. We became partners, each relying on the other. By day 30, I took a step back to observe all we'd accomplished. My dog now moved through the house with the calm assurance of a well-mannered companion. Walks were a pleasure, not a tug-of-war. He came when called, sat politely for meals, and delighted in showing off his repertoire of tricks. The barking at the door had subsided, replaced by hopeful glances my way for approval. But the lessons extended far beyond obedience. Training every day had taught me gratitude for the moments of connection, for the patience we cultivated together, for the small wins that brightened each day. I learned that progress happens in tiny, almost invisible steps, and that real change is measured by consistency, not speed. My dog, for his part, discovered that the world was not only full of rules, but also full of rewards, and that his trust in me was well placed. The days of training became a ritual, one I came to cherish. Whether we were practicing old commands or learning new ones, those moments of focused attention built trust and joy. I realized that training is not merely a phase to get through, but an ongoing conversation with my dog, one that would last our entire journey together. Reflecting on those 30 days, I understood that a well-trained dog is more than one who responds to commands. It's a dog whose relationship with their human is built on mutual respect, understanding, and love. The process had made me not just a better pet owner, but a more patient and present person. If there was one thing I'd wish for every dog owner to know, it's that training is not about perfection. It's about progress. Every dog learns at their own pace. Every human makes mistakes, but every day holds the possibility for connection. With each session, no matter how brief or how challenging, I discovered a deeper bond with my dog and a greater appreciation for the simple yet profound act of learning together. And so, as our 30 days drew to a close, I realized our journey had just begun. Training isn't something to finish, but something to nurture with time, patience, and kindness. My dog had learned to sit, stay, and spin, but most importantly, he had learned to trust. And I had learned just how much joy there is in growing, step by step, side by side.